Well, look who's back. So, what we've got going on here is the second part of our Grapes of Wrath TDA, but it's worth repeating this prompt so we know what we're looking for. All right? Theme is the life lesson that the author would like his reader to get out of their text. How does Steinbeck develop this theme throughout this excerpt from Grapes of Wrath? Support your answer with evidence from the text. Also, we will not be pausing this video while it's playing now, unless Mr. Surface chooses to do so, because it will be available online for eternity. And this video will outlive him. So let's go ahead and read and try and find some stuff for this prompt. So let's get our check mark ready and let's get our light bulb ready. Even after the sales, families have a lot of things left. The men remind the women that there won't be room for most things on the truck. Besides, they'll be camping outside. They need to take a few pots to cook in, lanterns and buckets, tent material, and the rifle. These are the tools they will need on the road. The children argue about toys they just can't do without. The women remember every single possession and what it meant to their family. None of that matters now, though, as they're forced to leave it all behind. A lot going on at the end there, right? None of it at all matters now as they're forced to leave everything behind, right? Forced to leave it all behind. I'm going to put leave it all behind for the check mark, right? Where else do we see stuff that could remind us of the theme here? I think what it meant to their family and how none of it matters, right? So family and none of that matters anymore. Oof. And my question is, what's going on with this little tent house? Seems like they're down on their luck. I'm curious about that picture. You also see a connection between women and children, right? It seems that their suffering is a little more potent than the men. They pay some more attention to it on this page. How can we live without our lives? How will we know it's us without our past? No, leave it, burn it, right? And there's the past burning there. There's the past here, right? How can we live without our lives? How will we know it's us without our past? All right, I'd like to give you guys a chance to take care. Do you see anything about theme or do you have a question about anything? Go ahead and take a quick little melody to pause it and then we'll come back to it. Here's the melody. Boop. All right, I hope that discussion was wonderful. Now, they try to memorize the home they are leaving. They wonder how they will get by when they don't know the land outside. They think about waking up at night, missing the trees that were once part of their lives. Please take a moment, and I'd like you to annotate this page as well. Please take a melody to give you a chance to pause, and then we'll come back. Oh, welcome back. Did you notice that this person is feeling homesick, missing the home, the trees that were part of their home? Right? Homesick, get it? Right? Right? Ayo. Suddenly they were nervous. Got to get out quick now. Can't wait. We can't wait. Oh, something's repeated. I wonder if it's important. And they piled up the goods in the yard and set fire to them. And they stood and watched them burning. And then frantically they loaded up the cars and drove away. Drove in the dust. And then here's that dust here. Why is that dust cloud so big? Right? And then here we have drove away in the dust. Is quite an image to leave us with, right? So they've got to get out. So maybe that'll help us arrive at our theme. So here's a little piece of the story. And let's go ahead and read what they ask us to pay attention to. And maybe that'll sharpen our thinking about theme as well. There's repetition here of words and ideas. What ideas are being emphasized through repetition? The tenants are sorting through generations of memories and belongings. In the little houses, the tenant people sifted their belongings and the belongings of their fathers and of their grandfathers. They picked over their possessions for the journey to the West. The men were ruthless because the past had been spoiled, but the women knew how the past would cry to them in the coming days, right? I wonder why women more so than men. I do notice the repetition, belongings, possessions, right? Anything about theme? Sure, right? The women understand something the men don't. It's a lesson that men would be wise to heed, as always. And we'll put this on top of theme up here, or life lesson. Okay, so let's take a look at another body paragraph that goes with this. Please go to, and apologies, I can't, slide 49 on the other uh, slide, on the other pair deck, right? So we have these pair decks here. We finished up the first reading through the story. Now we're going to break down a TDA. All right, what kind of TDA are we breaking down? A TDA that responds to this prompt. Theme is the life lesson the author would like his reader to get out of their text. How does Steinbeck develop this theme throughout the excerpt from Grapes of Wrath? Well, let's take a look at the student's answer. All right, put on an orange highlighter, pretty please. Steinbeck develops the theme of suffering throughout this excerpt using imagery. And where do I see suffering? Well, I definitely see suffering here. Look at that guy. There's the screen. Where else do I see suffering and imagery? I see it here, right? Take a look at the top part of this picture. And then I'm going to switch it over and I'm going to go with blue with imagery. So I'm going to get this imagery here and highlight that imagery over there. Steinbeck uses images of horses to be sold, right? Imagery is when the author activates the five senses. Oh, there are the five senses right here. See the teeth. I'm going to switch over to green. See the teeth. I do see those teeth. I'm highlighting them now. Sound all over. Deep lungs, feet fair and clean. How much? $10 for both in the wagon? I'd shoot them for dog feed first. Oh, take them. Right? So, we get that imagery from the horse. That horse imagery shows how familiar the animal, the narrator, the person talking, the second person narrator, is with the animals he does not want to sell for $10. There's that low price. If Steinbeck can describe the horses with less detail, then the discounted price would be less galling for the narrator and reader both, right? The horse got all its teeth. That's a working horse. And yet, for some reason, I'm switching over to bright purple. We have this galling sale that we've got to make, this low, low price for the narrator and reader both. This important attention to image detail shows the many different forms suffering can take. Once again, we got some suffering going on. Here's a picture full of different types of suffering. Okay. Please make sure that your paragraph looks similar to this paragraph in front of you, if not exactly the same. Nice job, everybody.